Now, many people have returned to work this week with New Year resolutions fast becoming a distant memory, sadly. All too often, top of that list is how to achieve the elusive work-life balance.
Fear not, our next guest is a myth buster on this topic. Andrew May is a performance coach who thinks that the work-life balance doesn't really help at all and sets us up for failure. And he joins us to explain. There are going to be people out there going, at last, someone who's telling us the truth about this.
You call me a myth buster. But it's true, isn't it, Bev? Like, so many people, we have a conversation, do you have work-life balance? And we either go, no, I don't. But a lot of us don't actually know what work-life balance is, or we don't have a definition of what is work for us, what is life. So we thought we'd talk about a few of those myths today and try and get people more of a sense of comfort that, hey, it may not be as bad as you actually think.
Let's talk about the first myth, and that is that we can all easily compartmentalise. You know, we've got 24 hours in a day, you can do the 8-8-8.
Busted. The academics, a number of years ago, they used to say, you know, compartmentalise into work 8 hours, sleep 8 hours and recreate or socialise 8 hours. But if anyone's watching this with young children, they'll go, 8 hours? Hey, where's that go? Exactly. So that's busted. And it's not realistic in this day and age. We sometimes work a lot more than 8 hours. So I think we've got to throw some of those old myths out.
Not to mention travelling to and from work. There's another 10 or 12 for some people who are travelling long distances.
News feeds, Twitter, I'm sure you guys, you got an easy life. You're doing the summer shift, you get home, you do nothing all day. Busted. You're constantly checking in. And a survey came out.
Thank you, Andrew. That's enough.
Let's go. It came out yesterday that over holidays, Trepid did this, Trepid Advisor, that over the holidays, 73% of Australians checked emails. So, again, we're connected 24/7.
Well, yeah, they're coming through on your phones more often than not. Work makes sure that happens. These next two myths, we'll take them together and get you to speak about them. You should be polite and respond to every request, and also technology will give us more leisure time. Sometimes they're linked, I guess, those two, because people are getting onto you and they're seeking you to do something.
Yeah. Remember when we were all kids? So 15 years ago. I'm back now, am I? Thank you. I've gone 1 minute, back the next. But you get a letter and you'd respond. Someone will give you a present, you'd respond. Nowadays, with multiple inboxes, we've got email, we've got Facebook, we've got Twitter, we've got everything else that goes with it. You cannot respond to every request, so bust it. And the other one, just backed into the research we spoke about, technology is amazing. Technology allows us to work on holidays if we need to connect in, but we have to have boundaries around it. So I tell a lot of my clients, turn your mobile off on the weekend, put it in a cupboard on holidays.
How do you deal with people, though, when you don't respond to them and they're not happy about that?
We often work in open plan offices, don't we? I send you an email, you know, a text message, Facebook, and then I go over and talk to you. I think we need to change the rules around this as well. And again, it's old school, but I think if it's urgent, let's have a conversation. Or at the very least, phone somebody. I think email and messages should be more for the generic communication.
Okay.
Let's work through a couple more myths. 4 through 6, hours worked equals productivity.
One of my pet hates. What a load of nonsense.
Yeah, you know, you go to a party or a cocktail and someone says, so Paul, how many hours do you work?
Yeah.
And you go, oh mate, I'm working really hard, 70 to 80 hours a week. Yeah. Hours worked is not productivity. Productivity is hours worked doing your job, so that one's gone.
Yeah, what about this great... What does this one mean, great managers are available 24/7?
Yeah, look, I had this when I first entered the corporate world. A few of my so-called leaders said, now, Andrew, to be a great manager, respond to every request, go to every meeting, be here first thing in the morning and late at night. Great managers need to be available at times, but they need to get offline. They need to get away from the distraction and the noise. And what do great leaders do?
And for clear heads.
They think, they strategise, they plan, they coach, and you cannot do that if you're connected 24/7. Yeah, your short-term memory goes down 10 to 15% when you're multitasking.
I'm going to challenge you on this next one, because I think a lot of people in workplaces would find it very hard not to at least appear to be following the leader. It's a hard one to do, because a lot of people feel they need to manage up in these difficult circumstances where, you know, people are vying for jobs left, right and centre.
Yeah, look, it's a challenging one, and I don't expect people to look at this and go back to their boss and go, no, busted, that's rubbish, that's gone, I saw it on ABC this morning, they know. That can be called a career-limiting move.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Security, get your pencils and
That's
go.
another way to go.
Yeah, but I do think people watching this need to start challenging their managers in the right way to say, hey, can we work smarter? So to me, the whole work-life balancing and hours worked and everything, it's about being smarter with our time at work so we have more time off and more leisure time. So if your leaders and your managers do all these myths, just have a nice conversation with them. Just be careful the way you approach it. And leaders, if they can try and follow this, it's exactly as you said, it cascades down.
Much better from the top down.
Yeah, and we work with a lot of large companies who put this in, and over time you see a huge shift, not just in the way they work, but in engagement and also the way they connect outside.
Do you see people suffering with trying to get a work-life balance and not being able to achieve it? You say you can't have that perfect balance. Do you see how people do suffer through not being able to do that, not being able to spend more time with the kids, and then feeling guilty about it, and it sort of snowballs into extra stress?
Especially with kids, because if you ask somebody, look, what's the best love in your life, or the main love? And if you've got family or kids, it's generally that, family. Then you look at people's diaries. So how much time did you spend last week with your family? And you see this guilt come over. So all these tips are really designed to get people to be more efficient at work, and then not just to have more time, Paul, but to be more connected. Because, you know, you can be at home for 5 hours, but you're on the device.
Yeah.
So it's about working hard, but then connecting hard in your life outside as well, and really defining, well, what is work life? You may be a graduate at an accounting firm, or you may have just started your career in radio or TV. Go hard for 10 years, because you know, to get to that next level, sometimes you need to roll the sleeves up and just knuckle down. So that's why I think it's really important to sit back and go, what is balance for me now? You may be watching this when you're 45 or 50, the kids are getting towards the end of school and you want to start getting fitter and you know, get a house on the coast. So balance will change in different phases of your life.
Especially if we're going to live to 150, according to Joe Hockey.
Are we? 150? Jeez. I'll see you in another 50 years.
Exactly, yeah. No work-life balance there, it'll all be balance. All right, good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.